Hey guys, I'm here at Rare and I'm joined by Mike and Joe. Hey guys, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about community and feedback and all that good stuff, because obviously that's super important to Sea of Thieves. Because there was any time you were watching, players on Twitch or, just there at conventions where you're like, wow, I didn't think that anyone would do that. Did anything take you by surprise?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's tons of examples, isn't there? But off the top of my head, we have cursed chests in the game. And these are, for example, the Chest of Sorrow is one of their cursed chests. And this is a chest you can dig up out there on an island. You dig it up, it's got a carved face onto the chest, and the chest can cry. So the face can cry, and all the tears kind of flooding onto the deck, and your ship can fill it with tears. The chest is worth a lot if you get it back to an outpost. The crew are united in working together to bail the water, bail the tears out of the ship to get that chest back. And that's what, well, that's going to bond players together. We put that into our technical alpha program, and we saw that players worked out that they could weaponise it. What they worked out was that they could sneak aboard someone else's ship with this chest, hide it in a really cool location where they didn't know where it was. That rival crew would be desperately trying to find where the hole was, where they were leaking water, but then realised too late, their ship sinks, and then the players who did it would sail in afterwards and just pick up the chests that were on board their ship. It's just incredible.
So in that technical alpha, were there any sort of concrete changes that were made due to sort of community feedback?
The obvious one for me is the small ship and the ladder, because we first put that in with one ladder.
The idea was that both ships have these ladders, and the ladders are obviously the entrance point for boarding crews. So the thinking with a small ship was that there'll be crews playing on there, either 2 people or 1 person. And the thinking was, how can we narrow the kind of entrances for people to board the ship? So you've got one place to kind of keep checking to see if anyone's boarding your ship. So the thinking was, let's make it a single ladder. It seems to make sense, and it was like, yeah, it's a great idea, and we've got a difference between the ships. Getting that out there in the wild and people played it, we were just overwhelmed with the feedback of, oh, I've parked my ship on one side of the outpost, now I've got to swim under my ship every time. Just that frustration of what it was like, and people almost wanted to sacrifice the sense that I've got just 1 entrance point, I've now got 2 entrance points, just so they've got that convenience. And we made a decision that made absolute principled sense, but getting it into real players' hands allowed us to realise that, we've probably got this wrong. And I think there's quite a few examples of
it.
Like
was
that,
even further on to the same point, right? It was if a solo player was exploring an island and came back to their ship, someone else could have got on it, and now they can't get back on their own ship.
Exactly.
And we were just like...
So obviously we had a hugely successful closed beta. What did you learn in terms of that from the community?
Well, I guess one of the things we were kind of looking at is how people organise themselves amongst their crew. And we have a mechanic in there, the brig, where people can deal with toxic players, shall we say, people that have the potential to ruin the session. And one of the kind of philosophies in the game was always to put the power in players' hands, to manage their session, to deal with people that are ruining the experience for them. But what we actually saw, looking at the data, looking at feedback, was that people were using mechanics to get a 4th player into the brig. Because all they wanted was to have that 3-player game, that kind of intimate session just with their friends. And we had an example of people using mechanics that were there to not be toxic, to deal with toxic players, but actually using it in a really toxic way to ensure they've got that 3-player game. So one of the changes we've made for launch is you can have a 3-player crew on a galleon. Like, we want to just let people have that possibility. If you've got yourself and 2 other friends, you just want to have a game on the galleon, have these wonderful adventures, we're going to let you do that.
I was playing with some friends and we put one of them in the brig just to, as being mean. And then we got attacked by another ship and didn't realise, and the whole ship went down with him in the brig, and I was like, oh, sorry, man. Yeah, our bad. But yeah, it's been lovely talking to you today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to play more Sea of Thieves.